Hey everybody, how are you? Happy August 1st. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I hope you're having a terrific summer. Um, yeah, welcome. Welcome. This is our August Facebook Live where I get a chance to connect with you, answer some questions that I've gotten by email in our private sessions. And of course, if any of you want to post any questions, let me know your thoughts. I'm happy to answer them or to try to answer them. We do this, or I do this 4 times a year, and I really look forward to it. It's not as ideal as a Zoom video call or something where I can interact with you, really see your faces and hear your voices, but we do 6 times a year our voice and performance master classes, which gives us a chance there. But this is just kind of a quick sit down with your lunch, or if you're over in Europe with your dinner or with a tea, and to join us. Oh, hi, Scotty. And just to say hi and check in and jot down any questions you might have. And again, I'm more than happy to answer them. And for those of you, as you know, who can't make it at noon Eastern time, which I know can be tricky, um, these are all saved on the Art of Singing page, and you can view them anytime. So again, welcome. Trying to think a couple quick things. Well, just on a personal note, my son, husband, and I, we call this our birthday month. And so my birthday was July 29th. My son is August 6th. My husband's August 6th, and our son is August 20th. So we have what we call a birthday month, and we start on July 29th and go all the way through until August 20th. So we're really enjoying that so much and eating lots of cake and having a really good time. Getting ready to have a big party for my husband and do whatever it is that our sweet son wants to do for his birthday, probably archery and sugar. So that's what's going on in our house. Just enjoying summer break, the pool, having a great time. I don't see that she's here yet, but we have one of my wonderful singers, Marilyn, just had an incredible show in New York. So proud of her, a one woman show where she just did about 18 songs. She and her pianist, Chris, had such a successful time, had such an incredible experience. So proud of them, so thrilled, especially during slash after wherever we are in that COVID, to get up and to really share herself after 3 years of all of us not really being other than video live and in person with people. So I'm just so thrilled for her. And other than that, life is great. The book is my new book, number 4, is coming along well, slowly but surely. And so that's been terrific. Yeah, and flowing. Life is good. My second semester at American University starts up soon, where I've been teaching voice, which has been a wonderful experience and a lovely counterbalance to my private practice. So I've really enjoyed that. So life is good, no complaints. And yeah, I'd love to hear Scotty or whomever else is with us right now. Love to hear your thoughts, any questions, anything you want to share, any successes, any ideas, any brainstorms. Would love to hear them, happy to speak to them. And if not, no worries, we can save them up for next time. Uh, but yeah, anything anyone wants to say or share, please feel free to drop it in the chat and let me know. Oh, great, Scotty. I'm going to read this out loud for those of you who maybe are on a phone. Happy birthday to you guys. Thank you, Scotty. Been able to get into a place lately where singing starts feeling easy like speaking. Yay! But not as consistent as I'd like. Would like to sing from this place all the time. Any suggestions to consistently sing as easy as speaking? Oh, and hi, Chris. Welcome. Scotty, thank you for your question. I'm so glad that you're having some success. That's wonderful. Really, I think that's great. And I think sometimes, a couple thoughts. I think sometimes when we have successes that seem like small successes, we sort of think, oh, that's great. And then now what, right? Or we sort of diminish how powerful that big moment is to move from tension to freedom, even if it's a small amount of freedom or a brief amount of freedom. Um, So that's one thing I'd say is to really hold on to and enjoy and linger in and celebrate even those small moments, okay? But in terms of having them linger, how to get there consistently, one thing I'll say is I think it depends where you are. So, for example, if you have a show coming up next week or even next month, we might take one approach. But if you are practicing or writing or kind of in training mode and you have some time and flexibility, then I think what I'm about to say is a little more applicable and appropriate. But as always, take whatever works for you and throw out the rest. I advise, and I know for me this is true, I have a fundamental commitment to always singing with comfort and ease. So, therefore, I prioritize always comfort over sound. And what that means is sometimes in the morning, or for example, right now, you can hear it, I'm a little congested. Um, None of that matters or even phases me. I just focus on how do I make it feel so comfortable. Often that means I get a little gargle. I shift into my head voice maybe sooner than I would otherwise. I sound or feel a little more nasal. But because I've made a habit of um, prioritizing comfort, that freedom, that feeling of freedom that you're talking about, as easy as speaking, is always present. And then on top of that, or after that, or as a secondary thought, once I'm in that really comfortable place, from there, not leaving there, I ask myself, okay, how do I make this wonderful feeling of freedom? How do I make a different sound? How do I change or alter, or improve the sound while never leaving that firm foundation of comfort? So that's what I do. And that sounds easy, right? But where it gets challenging, and again, Scotty, I don't know, we're not talking, so I'm just reading your comment. But where that can get challenging is we think, okay, this feels comfortable, but I really want to make that sound. And I think we often get impatient. Like, let me see if I can make that sound. Oh, that wasn't comfortable. That didn't sound good. Rather than take however much time it takes to figure out how to get to that note in a comfortable way. So I would say patience. The other reason I think it's important, and I hope I'm not over answering your question, is our bodies learn differently than our minds, right? You and I can have a thought, oh, I'm a wonderful person, I'm a terrible person, I'm a wonderful person, I'm a terrible person, right? And we still walk through the world. We're impacted by those thoughts, but we still are us walking through the world. The body, though, similarly, I guess, but the body really remembers its last engagements. So if we're free, tense, free, tense, tense, free, tense, tense, it doesn't have the cognitive discerning ability to say, oh, I'm going to choose to default to freedom, right? Instead, it kind of goes to what the last thing we did is and the most consistent thing we did. So I think most singers, most physical athletes tend to underestimate the importance of the boring, repetitive work, right? So I'll have people that I work with say to me, and Chris, I see your question. I'll read it in 1 second. Thank you. I'll have people say to me, yeah, I know these exercises, I got them. I want to do something different. And I would encourage someone to sing, for example, dee 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 or la, just move their voice comfortably for 3 weeks if they need to, however it's comfortable. That will do more to lock in and automate. So, Scotty, I hope that answers your question. That's what I would recommend to you. I hope that's helpful. And if not, or if you have follow-up questions, pop them in the chat and I'll answer them. Chris, let me read your question out loud for anybody who doesn't have, who can't see the comments, if they're like me and can't see video and comments at the same time. So Chris is saying, I think this may be on par with what you're describing now. Can you describe what it means to be a controlled singer? I sing, but when I hit higher notes that may be a bit out of my range, I feel the need to sometimes belt out notes versus maintaining control. I recently saw Chrisette Michelle, and I noticed that she has amazing control over her voice and how she hits each note. Great question. And you can see me kind of hesitating. It's your question is so rich. There's so many thoughts I have about different parts of it. So, Chris, first and foremost, for you and for everybody, not knowing your voice, of course, you know, take what I say with a grain of salt, and I'll try to speak because I don't know your voice exactly. I'll try to speak more thematically or generally, broadly. Oh, great, Scotty, love it. Comfort over sound. Yes, thank you. You are so welcome. Um, so, Chris, I don't know how familiar you are with my work, but I write. Oh, Kristen. Okay, Chris is Kristen. Okay, got it. Oh, hi, girl. So good to see you. Well, now I do know your voice, so now I can now speak to it. Okay, great. So now that I know Kristen's voice, I can speak a little more directly, but not too personally to her voice. So Kristen is an amazing singer, rich, big, beautiful voice, really healthy instrument, and a very natural, intuitive control over her instrument. Really has a non-language based, which is a good thing, just a natural understanding of how to encourage and engage her voice to do what she wants it to do. So that's great. I'm going to point out a couple things that Kristen said that for me make me go, let me just think about that. I want to be clear that language doesn't ever have to be a problem, but language can be a problem, and singing and in our lives, right? So um, words like high note, low note, belting, head voice, um, even things like support. These are words that might be completely fine for some of you and not create any problems. Oh, you're blushing. Well, you don't need to blush. You're fabulous. um, these words might not be problematic for some people, but we all want to stop and check, are the words we're using in our singing and in our lives, are they helping us or hindering us? Are they empowering us? Are they moving us forward? Are they encouraging our growth, development, and vocal ability? Or are they stifling, limiting, stopping? So, Kristen, I know we know each other and have worked together. So words like, for Scotty's sake and anyone else who's watching right now or later in the recording, um, words like controlled, words even like out of my range. Do we know for sure what our range is? My range changes a little bit day to day. My range changes a little bit based on how free I am and comfortable and relaxed. My range changes a little bit based on sometimes my diet. My range changes a little bit based on a variety of things. That's true for both my actual range, like how low can I go, or how, not low, but how slow can I go, and how high I can go. But it's also, and I think this might be where you're talking about, Kristen, it's also highly, highly relevant when it comes to which voice we're in. So, for example, and I've written about this in one of my books, I think it was The First Art of Singing, I was convinced I could never belt above a B flat, that this was the highest note I could hit, right? And then one day in the studio, I don't even remember now, but I was singing something and I was belting up to a D, so major third above where I thought I could belt, and I could never get a D or a D flat, I don't remember. And how had that happened? I was in the studio, I was distracted. I wasn't thinking, I was present. I was probably really energized and my adrenaline was going, my excitement. And so my body found a way, in the absence of my belief I can't get higher than a B flat, it found a way to create a sound that I wanted it to make, not knowing what that note was. So that's a lot of talk. Thanks for your patience about that idea. So the first thing I consider is maybe you don't know what your range is. Maybe notes that you believe you don't have access to, you do have access to if you don't think about it, if you don't look at the sheet music, if you don't bang out the note on the piano and go, okay, that's as high as I can go. So that's a thought. About the control specifically, I think you and I have talked about, and Scotty, I don't know your views on this, but certainly I talk about a lot of this in my writing and the articles and books. I think of control, most of us, when we talk about control, it's like a hands on kind of thing, right? Um, but control really for me is the kite string and the voice is the kite. So you can grip that kite string as much as you want, but really it's not going to impact the kite. Most of us, though, look at our voices like a kite, like we grab it and we're controlling it and we're ending up stopping it rather than allowing it to go and flow and fly free. So those are just some thoughts, Kristen, about our relationship with language as it pertains to the voice. Okay, so now to your question specifically. Can I describe what it means to be a controlled singer? I sing, but when I hit higher notes that may feel a bit out of my range, I feel the need to sometimes push, belt, rather than maintaining control. So I'm going to translate a little bit what think I hear you asking, and that is I feel like I have a good sense of my voice, good relationship with my voice, but certain notes that are high and or scary and or important in the song, right? I get a little worried and concerned and I freak out a bit. And how do I make those, rather than control, how do I make those predictable? So, how I would go about that is I would spend a lot, oh, good, it makes a lot of sense. Good. I would, similar to what I said to Scotty, I would spend a lot of time lingering in that part of your voice. So, for those of you that don't know, high notes really are not, there's no up and down in the high and low, uh, in the vertical, the horizontal vertical plane. It's high notes are your vocal folds moving faster and tipping a little bit, or slower for low notes, faster for high notes is a simple way of saying it. So changing that association is helpful, but I would really spend a lot of time in that range. So I don't know what specific songs you're talking about, but rather than spending your time kind of moving your voice in a comfortable area, I would probably I'd spend my time up there. I'd really work my voice. I'd really spend a lot of time in those scary places. And I would do so, as I said to Scotty, prioritizing comfort. I don't care if you're in your head voice, I don't care what voice you're in, but make it comfortable. Run those sections of the song again and again and again and again until two things happen. One, they're physically comfortable and you recognize, oh, maybe that's not as powerful as I want it to sound, but it's comfortable. It sounds good too. And it's also predictable. Your body and your mind, when they get to that line of the song or those lines, doesn't freak out and make you nervous and think you have to control, and as a result probably have you uh, hesitate, hold your breath, which makes us have to push a lot harder than we would have anyways. So does that help? Does that answer your question? Let me know. um, and if you guys have other questions, let me know. I see my phone is kind of semi blowing up. So I'm making sure that the link is okay. Wait, we've got someone that's got the wrong one. Hang tight. 1 second. And pop in some other questions. Oh, good. Kristen, it makes sense. Yes. Scotty, Kristen, anyone else that's joining us, please feel free to pop in other. Oh, you're amazing too. Let me know if there are other questions you guys have. And I'll just write a couple of these people back and let them know that we're on Facebook, not Google. I think some of us are more technologically challenged than I am. Hold on a second. Okay, so I hope that helps, Scotty and Kristen. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Any other events coming up that you want me to mention and share with everybody? While we wait for that, I'll let you know that we've got, of course, I don't have my calendar in front of me. I know we've got in November another voice and performance masterclass coming up, which will be great. They're all on Zoom these days. It's been one of the great things about COVID, the lemonade of the lemons, is that people from all over the world can join us rather than just those in New York and DC. Um, So please feel free to join us. All the information's on findingyourvoice.com, and you can pop in anytime. We do them, as I said, 6 times a year. So join anytime you'd like. I also have workshops that I give on public speaking, reading your work out loud. All of the information is on my website on the events and schedule pages. So, yeah, I think that might be all the questions we have today. It'll be a short one. Oh, I think Scott Jackson's here too. Hi, my dear friend Scott. It's so good to see your name, if not your face. Love and miss you so. Yes, so lots of love to everyone. I hope everyone's well. If there are no other questions right here, I'll send you all a big hug and wish you the best remaining part of your summer, or for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, winter. And I'll see you when we do this again in November. And in the meantime, guys, if you have questions, feel free to email them to me, message them to me. I usually kind of keep a running list of them. And then answer them in our meeting. But with summer got crazy, and I've been remiss with cataloging your emails. So, oh, Marilyn came here. Hi, Marilyn. You missed me talking about your incredible one-woman show and just what an inspiration you are. Marilyn, I don't know if you have any questions. We were about ready to sign off. And we'll do this again soon. Marilyn and others, if you popped in late, or a lot of people can't make this time, maybe I'll look for another. But these are all going to be available on the Art of Singing page. Just go to videos, and every one of these we've done before will be there, so you can see them. Oh, let's see. Oh, Kristen, you've got another one. I'm going to read it out loud for those who can't see it. I'm considering working with an artist who is looking for a vocalist, so I'll keep you posted for sure if I decide to move forward. Oh, excellent. My general feeling, of course, I can't say for sure, but is say yes to everything. Say yes to everything. Another question I had, especially since I know you were previously a background singer, how is that experience? Do you have to learn music on the fly? What do you do to learn the artist you're working with? Okay, I'm not sure what that question means, Kristen. Kind of clarify that, but about the background singing. Yes, so for those of you that don't know, I spent quite a bit of time, and it was wonderful, singing backup for different artists in the pop R&B space. It was amazing. My experience, I can only speak for mine, but in terms of, you do need to learn music on the fly. In my experience, I never had to sight read music. I think it's a great skill to have, of course, even if you just learn the vocal lines. But I mean, in all of the artists I worked with, I never was asked to read music. It was all sort of listening to the song. You're the high part, you're the middle part, you're the low part. So one skill you definitely have to have, and very much on the fly, is being able to learn a song very quickly if you don't already know it, and hear the parts. So I know, for example, when I sang backup for Stevie Wonder, his songs are wonderfully catchy, but for those of you who haven't really kind of consciously thought of it, they're deceptively simple sounding, but those background harmonies and modulations are complicated. So, Kristen, I know you very well. You have such a terrific ear. I think it may be one thing you can do that would be good, regardless of whether or not you work with this artist, is continue to listen to music as you always do. Especially in the genres you're talking about, or artists that you may or would like to sing backup for, and start picking out those parts. Like, see if you can hear the low part, the middle part, the high part, and sing them through. Sing all of them through. Just get really good at sort of, I always say, like drummers are ambidextrous. How do they do the left hand, the right hand, the left foot, the right foot? They can do these different things at the same time. Getting good at really isolating those parts out and being able to recall them on the fly. Okay, you say, I think you're answering the question. Great, right on, perfect, good. So that's what I would do. Again, I never had to sight read. No one gave me a piece of paper and said, read this. That happens with jingles sometimes. In my experience, when you get more into the studio and you're doing commercial gigs, sometimes that happens. But these days in commercial, country, pop, R&B, most of that is, unless you get into theater and classical, then you're going to do a lot of sight reading. But the other stuff, it's mainly by ear, or people will bang out the parts on the piano for you. Again, I never think it hurts to to learn anything. But that was my experience. So I hope that helps. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it for now. Great. Well, you guys, lots of love. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining all of us. And again, the video will be played, Marilyn and others, if you popped in and want to hear the beginning. And I will see you guys here again in November. And as always, guys, never hesitate to reach out. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions. Okay? All the best. Have a great, great rest of your summer. Talk to you all soon. Bye.